how did you become the Roastmaster General? How did it go from just being a comedian out there pushing stand-up to realizing that I've got a niche here and this is going to be amazing?
Wow. I got asked to do the roast, and being from Jersey, that was kind of in my blood. When you grow up in Jersey, like me, Newark, Union, and Springfield, back then, everybody thinks that they're an expert in busting chops. It's kind of like what we do. It's how we show love.
It's so
Right? You guys know. Any
So
Jersey
true.
people here?
Come on, right here.
Del
Where?
Tufo.
Livingston.
Oh, my God. I lost my virginity in Livingston. Christmas Eve one year. All the Jews got together for Chinese food, and we lost our virginities. So, you know, that's how we talk, and that's how we develop our thick skin. And there was this one bully that roamed the halls of my high school, and he would jump out of lockers and smash people right in the crotch. And he got me one time, and I was down on the floor in pain, and I go through this entire sequence very dramatically in the Take a Banana for the Ride show, and I realized I couldn't beat this kid up, so I stood up and shook it off and started insulting him. And by demeaning the bully, by taking the bully down with insults, I was able to neutralize him, where he was no longer a bully that bothered me, by humiliating him. And I think the fun of that and the excitement of being able to defend myself with words, with jokes, made me sort of invincible. And I think that's really how I became the Roastmaster.
I don't think many people know this. I mean, the reason why we know you is because you approached Rich or saw him somewhere. I don't remember what exactly what was,
yeah.
but okay, tell us exactly.
Well, finish your question. How did I meet Rich?
No, it was more like just sharing with the audience, you know, it came because of the Hefner roast post 9/11.
I was on the street working on jokes for the roast of Hugh Hefner, which would have been 3 weeks after 9/11. So, of course, you're in New York. The place, everyone's walking around like this. There's ash in the air. There's a feeling of desperation. There's a feeling of death. I mean, what is it? It's the worst tragedy in New York history is happening all around us. And as a comic, I'm like, we can't cancel. Then the terrorists win. It wasn't a cliche back then. You had to, the show must go on. The roast must go on. So I wrote a letter to Hugh Hefner, and let's face it, he was the reason the terrorists hated us, like free speech and sex and all that stuff. And I wrote a letter to the Friars Club, and I said, please, let's keep, instead of doing an after party, let's have a big fundraiser afterwards for the Twin Towers Fund. And Comedy Central was down, and I was working on my jokes just like any other roast, just road testing everything in the clubs, make sure I had a lot of good jokes about Hugh Hefner. I said, you know why Hugh Hefner has 7 girlfriends? One to put it in and the other 6 to move him around. Hey, you asked for it.
I did.
And then outside one of the clubs, when I was preparing, I see this guy that I kind of recognize from TV. It's this little cute, pudgy Rich Eisen. I go, here's a nice, sweet Jewish guy who understands comedy. I said, Rich, nice to meet you. I'm Jeff Ross. I've seen you on SportsCenter. You're great. He's like, oh, I know you, Jeff Ross. I saw you roast Drew Carey and this and that. And we started talking. I go, hey, what are you doing next week? Do you have a tuxedo? He goes, yeah, I can find a tuxedo, which is a weird thing to ask somebody in the wake of 9/11. But I said, you know what? We're gonna get dressed up. We're gonna celebrate life. We're gonna celebrate free speech. We're gonna do something patriotic. We're gonna roast this publishing mogul, Hugh Hefner, that we all know that we're going to have lots of great jokes about, and it'll be a release for New Yorkers, a release in the tension of what's been going on. And he understood that. He said, yeah, I'm coming. I said, I got your seat on the dais, big guy. And Rich and I have been friends ever since.
He
and
almost passed out.
Yeah.
He called me. He's like, you're not going to believe what just happened.
Were you boyfriend and girlfriend back then, or were you married in 2001?
We were
just friends, maybe?
Just friends. Just friends.
You were still making them chase you at that point. I think.
Yeah,
Really?
just friends.
Yeah.
We were just friends.
What?
Wait a minute. Hold on. 2001. When did we get married?
03.
Remember? You're asking us.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
This is the
We
saddest
were
thing I've
dating.
ever seen. How do you not know if you were married on 9/11?
We weren't married. I was out here, and he was in New York, and he called me and he said, "You're not going to believe what just happened." He's like, "The craziest thing just happened. I'm going to be on the dais." He's like, "But because Rich is he's a failed stand-up comedian. All he wanted to do was be a stand-up comedian, and so meeting you was like, and being exposed to those people on the dais, it was probably one of the best nights of his life. I'm not joking.
I won't let you call him he's an evolved stand-up comedian.
I have so many more questions for you. Okay.
Failed means it means that he works, a job that he doesn't love.
True.
But he used comedy to take him to a new place.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.